Me on vacation? On Christmas Eve?
Where are we taking him?
Where?
To Oogie Boogie, of course. There isn't anywhere in the whole world more comfortable than that. And Jack said to make him comfortable, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Haven't you heard of peace on earth and goodwill toward men?
Now!
Jesus Christ, Merry Christmas, everybody.
That's offensive.
What was that about, Henry?
I wanted to belch in time as the music.
Hi, everybody.
Is this the start? Oh, no.
It is. Welcome to a brand new episode of Laser Time, which substitutes...
Season's greetings.
But yes, because what time is it?
Laser
Christmas? Time? 5:35.
Christmas
oh,
time.
you mean
Christmas time? What's that?
Yes, it's back on the soundboard. You're so very welcome. You're so very welcome. That is Skeletor from one of the worst Christmas specials ever made.
Terrible.
But very, very watchable with a group of people and a little bit of pot and booze.
It might be worse than Sonic's Christmas Blast,
which you just talked about in Retronauts,
or will talk about. I don't know the timing of the posting on here, but yes, Dave and I talked about it.
But this is Laser Time. Laser Time is the fifth leading pop culture show because nobody likes our Christmas shows. That's why you're only getting one this year. And this is also, having prepared it, does feel a little bit like a rerun and therefore appropriate to Christmas time. Because while even people like me at a cartoonchristmas.com romanticize Christmas specials, what they are essentially for is so most people who work in television can take some time off, and I don't give a shit what we throw up. Let's throw up something we did last year or 40 years ago.
Let's show Peanuts again.
Yes. That's if you're being
Rudolph
cynical about
again,
it, that is why you do it during Christmas time.
Christmas time? What's that?
Glad you asked, Skeletor. By the way, I'm Chris Antista.
Dave Rudden.
Bryclops? It's a Triclops thing.
Okay. And the master of the universe, Henry Gilbert.
There we go. That special, by the way, new this year, free on YouTube. Uploaded by the official He-Man account.
Wow.
We are just about to enter into a fascinating new media time where shit is not hard to find, and all this obscure stuff you thought was gone forever.
The companies just shrug their shoulders like, there's no other way to make money on this.
But
put it on YouTube.
Crackle ain't taking it, so fuck it.
Who's going to flag that video, though?
No, it's on the official account.
That's the joke.
And also on the official Paramount account is Masters of the Universe.
Well, that was the joke.
The film?
The movie.
That's right. I forgot.
The movie is free to watch on YouTube.
Paramount also put up Bound, and that was the one I went to just of like, are these really uncensored? And then I scrubbed through it like, yep, that's the full-on sex scene.
So, not to go on a tangent here, but like, I don't know, like, they just did this, but the one thing about YouTube is like, it's kind of sad that you can see numbers. So like, a while ago I did a thing about cartoons based on movies, and one of them was Toxic Avengers. And the Toxic the Toxic Avenger movie was on Troma.
Troma uploaded all its content.
And it's like 1,000 views. I'm like, oh my god, that's so sad. And also that one did have boobs as well.
I think the audience that wants that movie the most isn't watching movies on YouTube.
Yeah, we're watching USA Up All Night in 1989.
They're 40, 50-year-old men with basements full of pornography.
We're only 10 years away.
But that's not even the topic of this week's episode.
Okay.
This topic of this week's episode, lightly, hopefully with a little return of Erotic Fan Fiction Theater, because we're talking about the darkest moments in Christmas classics. And that's, I love, like, again, I wrote an entire site for 4 or 5 years called The Cartoon Christmas, where he chronicled one Christmas special every day, either a Christmas episode of a show or a very special Christmas special. Every day till the 25th for 4 years. So there are 100 write-ups of specials and more.
Do you think you could make an advent calendar of those?
That was supposed to. That's the subtitle, an animated advent calendar. Right. And I got. I don't know
love
how I did
advent calendars. You see those Lego advent calendars? You get a different minifigure every day.
How do you eat those?
That has to cost over $100.
There's
no way it doesn't. Fucking Legos.
Just all the fun of Christmas.
Meanwhile, like Trader Joe's is selling their advent calendars for $1, and I'm like, 25 pieces of chocolate for $1. That must be the worst chocolate known to man.
Oh yeah,
it's all the chocolate they cut off of good chocolate.
My
favorite part
the trim, the entrails of chocolate.
Favorite part of Advent calendars is when all the heroes help Cloud to fight.
I knew that was coming. I sat there and waited for it. And it hit me in the fucking face. God damn it! I knew that was coming. But
what are sad ones?
It's not that they're sad. It's like if I take one of the more famous examples. Like I've always said this, and I've said this a billion times in the show. I haven't seen the new Peanuts movie, but I want to.
It's good,
mainly because I want it to retain the outright depression that is evident through all Peanut stuff that nobody really seems to talk about. I used to go to Japan and like Snoopy and Charlie Brown and everything. Like they're so cute, and like the subject matter is almost inappropriate for children.
No, yeah.
Well, not. I guess not, because it's not. They're not thoughts I can't remember saying to my parents. But like, if we all die, why are we trying so hard to do stuff? Like just hearing that come out of the mouths of babes. And like, but the cruelty,
existential dread,
is littered throughout Peanuts. But like, the cruelty constantly shown to Charlie Brown is the basis of most of the comedy, all the time. Like, and so like, just watching the special, I don't know, like we probably all had moments. Your pants split, you got laughed at. I remember one time in school, somebody tripped me, and I recovered. And then I kept recovering to where I couldn't stop recovering
until you were 35.
Fuck you, Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown. But this is how people treat Charlie Brown.
Oh, the music.
Boy, are you stupid, Charlie Brown. What kind of a tree is that? You are supposed to get a good tree. Can't you even tell a good tree from a poor tree? I told you he'd goof it up. He's not the kind you can depend on to do anything right. You're hopeless, Charlie Brown. Completely hopeless. Rats.
All those kids recorded on vinyl.
And, can't you tell a good tree from a poor tree?
That was a little snare drum brush.
Who wrote that line?
Noise.
Yeah, it was
Charles Schultz wrote everything.
It was also that Charles Schultz's thing from the beginning was, we're going to hire kids to say these words. And that's what's great in the movie too. There's nobody other than Kristen Chenoweth. There's nobody famous.
Because I think that's the appeal of Peanuts. That they do say these horrible, morose things, and it comes out of the mouths of unprofessional children. I think that's actually their charm. And why it's lasted for so long, because nobody else does that. It was something Schultz and Bill Melendez were adamant about, casting kids in these roles to say mean things to other kids.
You've been dumb before, Charlie Brown, but this time you really did it. Not a tree.
Even his dog.
Oh my God, the biggest
I
betrayal.
guess you were right, Linus. I shouldn't have picked this little tree. Everything I do turns into a disaster.
But I mean, I remember being a little kid, and you always feel like at some point every kid feels like that's them. So that's
why I think that's also why I think he is the main character in like all these Peanut specials almost all the time.
So you went darker. Linus could have betrayed him too. Like, haha.
That's the one. Linus is the only person who won't betray Charlie.
He's the only loyal person. I love. We just watched The Great Pumpkin, and at the end, it's like,
I
don't know why I believe in anything.
Yes. No, I mean, comparatively, in the new Peanuts movie, it ends with like a happier ending, and it's still tonally pretty similar, but
it doesn't
at the
have
very
like
least, it's like
there are so many moments, especially in those movies. I just watched the movies are all on Hulu now, and it culminates. God, makes it sound so old, but we did a show this year, the best animated movies based on animated cartoons. And number 2, I think, was the Simpsons movie, because that was well rated on Rotten Tomatoes. The highest rated on Rotten Tomatoes is A Boy Named Charlie Brown, featuring the song "Failure Face," a song all about mocking Charlie Brown.
And at the end of the movie,
is him going to a spelling bee and everybody cheering for him losing, and everybody like, yeah, I knew he'd fucking do it. Fuck him
on national television.
Wow.
And then the point of the
who sings "Failure Face"? Is that Lady Gaga?
The moral of the story at the end is he comes home, and then Linus says like, well, so the world didn't end, Charlie Brown. Failure's not that bad. You're still alive. You'll just move on.
You still got your teeth or something as they slowly walk away from him. Like,
again, you're walking home, aren't you?
I find a lot of the Peanut stuff, the comics and the specials, especially deeply profound and cathartic. And I can't imagine why the rest of the world loves them. I can't imagine why they dress up those awful mock puppets at Knott's Berry Farm to hug them. Hey, kids, you ever wondered if your father really loved you?
I read this article today that special killed aluminum trees. That aluminum trees, everybody's like, get an aluminum tree. And when I was a kid and saw that, like, I'd never heard of an aluminum tree. Like, you get fake. I never had a real tree in my life, but that's also because my mom has a major anxiety disorder about having a real tree in the house and thinking that it'll burst in flames.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I set up Presto Pine. I don't know if that's still a brand name, like the Band-Aid of fake trees. Presto
like
Pine.
the Allied biscuit of trees.
my girlfriend has had one for her family. Had one for years. Very poor. So they had this small little tree. I posted pictures of it before, and I was just like, never again. And not only have we always had a real tree, my hippie ass dad wouldn't buy trees that were cut. For the first, the first
you have
8
to wait
years,
for them to die.
No, he would. Our Christmas trees, like the base of the fern part of it, would stand about 3 feet taller because beneath it is a bag of dirt and roots that preserve the tree, and he would plant them.
And then plant it afterwards.
He would plant it. They died every time. So for so you think it looks in hindsight it looks so redneck, like a car rotting in the yard, just like right next to the driveway is a Christmas tree, like a tan beige Christmas tree waiting to set on fire.
Basically, like the beginning of Christmas Vacation, where he forgets the axe.
But no snow in Florida.
I mean, do you have Wonderful Life on this list?
I do, because like I constantly say that to people. I just discovered this movie like 4 years ago.
Wow.
And I watch it about 3 or 4 times a year, and I didn't watch it because I thought via parody I knew what the movie was about, and it turns out I don't. You probably
mostly
don't.
gets parodied is the last 20 minutes of the movie.
I'm going to kill myself. I'm an angel. Don't kill yourself, George. Here's what the world would be like without you.
Yeah. By the way, I love the Beavis and Butthead parody of it.
It's great.
It's so good.
That is a great Christmas
The
special.
world
On a
is
cartoon
better
Christmas.
off if they're dead. They should be dead.
They parodied it on Tiny Toons. I remember a fucking SNL sketch with Chris Farley as Newt Gingrich playing the George Bailey role.
But the film is a really long film, especially they edited it down for television, but with today's ads on it.
Oh, we watched
like
it last year.
4 hours.
Was it you, me, Michael, and Diana? Like, I wanted to watch it on TV because I don't see Christmas commercials anymore unless Hulu puts them on.
So you will see a whole lot of them watching.
It was
Wonderful
excruciating.
Life.
It was 3.5 hours,
Yes.
like for like a movie that's just over 2. But the point of the movie is George Bailey is a guy who gets kicked in the dick by fate every single second. He starts at
He's a good man who makes too many
he starts out with him saving his brother and losing hearing in his right ear,
and then his life.
And then all he wants to do is go off to college and then start a new business and just see the world. And it's
just want to leave Bedford Falls.
I'm going off to college, Dad. 1 sec, son. I'm having a heart attack. Okay, I'll stay and run the family business, but only till Ben gets back from college. And of course, his brother shows up back from college. Sorry, brother. I got married.
I gotta go.
I didn't tell you.
I used all the college,
but he did. He's a guy who doesn't get to do anything he wants.
I get to. He saves the town and convinces people not to sell out to to Mr. Potter, and then they're like, "But we will sell out if you leave."
And I had to have my dad, because if you don't know It's a Wonderful Life, odds are if you're listening, you know the Simpsons parody, like, your money's not here, it's in Bill's house. He works at a savings and loan, and my dad had to explain to me the difference, because not unlike when I interpret the ending of Roger Rabbit now, I bought Cloverleaf Red car so I could dismantle it. Oh yeah, that actually happened.
Yes.
Yeah. You paved paradise and put up a parking lot. That is, the Roger Rabbit ending did happen, and we don't have a Toontown. That is what happened. But so was this, because like he had to explain to me that savings and loans were different from banks, because we don't like when you watch the movie It's a Wonderful Life. He looks like he works at a bank, but is afraid of another bank.
Yeah,
no, they were savings and loans. They were people who gave loans so you could get houses, temporary loans so you get houses, independent businesses.
Yeah, it was much more complicated than a bank, and Mr. Potter always wanted to buy it. And it's also the story of Mr. Potter being a horrible monster to everybody and this despicable man. I believe he's the grandfather of Drew Barrymore.
John Barrymore?
John Barrymore, yeah. And so, yeah, he's been George's enemy this whole time. And you're also learning this through angels who are saying this is the most desperate day of his life.
Awful special effect where it's just like, here's how an angel talks. It's a fucking
it's
a
very
star
cheap.
twinkling.
I thought that was great. Is he sad? Worse, he's discouraged. God, I love 1940s mentality.
He's ready to give up the greatest gift of all, his life. And so that he's so. But then thanks to this stupid uncle of his, like his brain dead uncle.
Yes.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Because the uncle just he accidentally gives. It's like.
It's
like in Avengers if Thor accidentally gave the Tesseract to Loki.
Yes.
Like that's how that's the crescendo
not,
of the film.
In a 40s style of diagnosis, Billy's little soft in the head.
A little soft.
Yeah.
A little water on the brain. But
exactly.
he misplaces the entire monthly payment, meaning not only will they go under, but all the houses that they finance for all these other people would go under. And that's when you see that
going to jail.
He goes off. He wants to go off on his honeymoon, and there's a run on the savings and loan where he has to pay out all the money to these people, and including their wedding money. It's just wall to wall, charming, hilarious tragedy. Like throughout It's a Wonderful Life, and this is the only scene where like he grabs his uncle character who has lost all their money, it grabs him by the collars and starts shaking him, and like you can just see how much he wanted to curse in the 1940s.
Uncle Billy, look, do you realize what's going to happen if we don't find it? Listen to me. Do you have any secret hiding place here in the house? Someplace you hide the money.
I've gone over the whole house, even in rooms that have been licensed. I lost Laura.
Listen to me.
He doesn't care.
Think.
I can't think anymore, George. I can't think anymore. It hurts.
Where's that money, you silly, stupid old fool? Where's that money? You realize what this means? It means bankruptcy and scandal and prison. That's what it means. One of us is going to jail. Well, it's not going to be me.
That's the only moment he breaks from like the Stewart character, and
when he yells at his children too.
And I'm not even going to ruin it, even though you might. It is one of the best endings ever, and yes, Capra-esque, I guess, before that term existed.
Well, it created the term Capra-esque in this film,
but it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. But you gotta watch. That's the thing. If you just watch the end of the film, if you just watch every time a bell rings, like it's not earned. You have to. You have to suffer through George Bailey's life with him for over 2 hours to then really get why his redemption is so important, and really understand about Bert and Ernie and how much they changed and all, and about Martini and about George.
Dude, watch this movie. And one of the things I love bringing up
all
about
those men died on that boat.
Just a dark moment as someone who almost got a DUI recently. I love it in these 40s movies where people do kind of just DUI all they want, and there's a light fine. It's something that's just happens occasionally, and he just crashes his car into a tree, drunk as shit. Our hero kicks his door closed like 80 times.
What do you think you're doing?
Breaks the tree.
Now look what you did. My great-grandfather planted this tree. Hey, you.
Hey, go.
Hey, you.
Hey, go.
Come back here, you drunken fool. Get this car out of here.
So great. And then he had one too many martinis as well. Who, like, he was this poor immigrant that George helped out and buy a house for all of his giant Catholic family.
Please watch It's a Wonderful Life. Just get a little whiskey. Watch It's a Wonderful Life.
It was shocking the first time I watched it all the way through, especially in a non-commercial version. It's like, wow, this really hits so many dark notes.
It does,
that most films don't want to get that dark, especially you would think in the 40s they're not going to get that.
I mean, I don't think I did a great job. I'm a little under pressure right now, and we're short on time. I wanted to prepare this episode for the whole Christmas season, but I think Christmas content gets away with. Did I just say content?
Yes,
it's
Christmas pro-tent.
Christmas pro-tent gets away with this because it's allowed to be much darker. Because everybody expects a happy ending.
Yeah, you got to really like set that curve up.
You do, and so like because oh my god, the movie you mentioned that I couldn't get, but I found the scene sped up by 2 times on YouTube. One Magic Christmas starring Mary Steenburgen from 1985.
I haven't seen it since probably like 1989.
It's more horrifying than you described.
So
it goes too far. I think that's why they never aired.
As far as I can remember, Mary Steenburgen, like she has a husband who's out of work.
She's a put-upon wife working in a grosband store. Everybody's poor as shit in like almost every Christmas special, like unconscionably poor.
And at some point, her husband and kids are killed in the span of like an hour. Like,
it's like a bank. It's a failed bank robbery.
It's a failed bank robbery where a husband gets shot and killed in front of her, and then the bank robber runs out of the door as she's holding her husband and dying in her arms. This is a G-rated Disney movie. As her husband dies in her arms, the bank robber steals the car with the kids in it, gets on a massive police chase. Oh my god! And like, we were watching Beetlejuice recently. Like, how do they deal with the deaths of the heroes? Not as prolonged as One Magic Christmas. Because he then at a roadblock just drives over a bridge with the kids in the back seat, disappear and dead forever, and then it just cuts to a scene of her crying in the bathroom.
It's pretty bad.
Yep.
And
Mary Steenburgen is a good enough actress
you've still
to
got
make
your
you
health.
feel even worse.
And now she has to deal with Will Ferrell's death in Last Man on Earth.
I love her as perpetually drunk on this on Last Man on Earth.
Somebody threw up Chardonnay and nachos playing her.
But then there's some magic Christmas angel fixes it. So like first it turns out like, oh no, he didn't drive over the cliff. He let the kids out a couple blocks early.
That's what I couldn't understand.
But her husband isn't dead either, right?
Something like
watching the horrible YouTube, you guys seen those Rick and Morty like full episodes on YouTube that are like they take up a quarter of the screen, have a terribly ugly JPEG border, and speed up the sound by like a third. That's the best way to watch it right now. It's not on DVD. But watching it like that, Harry Dean Stanton is there the whole time planting seeds with the entire family as if he knows this is going to happen.
Yeah. Well, he gets off on it. He wants to see it happen.
That's what I think. I want to see your family die first, then we'll build you back up.
That's what. Well,
I really get off on women overcome by grief.
Well, this reminds me too that I spent the Thanksgiving break with my mom, and she had on Hallmark all the time, and the Hallmark Channel was airing all their Christmas movies back to back to back. And when I could watch them, I was like, these are all the same movie. Like, they're the same. They have a different cast and different names of characters, but it is the exact same arc every time, which is stars a woman in her 40s or later who she made all the wrong decisions in her life, and then she realizes what she needed to do was move back home and have a more domestic life, and then marry a guy who's a handyman,
and then by association watch more Hallmark Channel.
Yeah. And then also, and then handyman will also have a daughter or a son who's like, I need a mom. I think you'd be a good mommy. And then she has to quit her old job. Like, sorry, I can't have a career anymore. I learned being a mom's better.
That is a mystery. That is my grandmother's favorite channel.
Yeah. Well, it's fun to watch just to be like, oh, this 90s sitcom star. That's what happened to them. They're starting this thing now.
It does sound like that one Comedy Bang Bang TV skit where it's like the movie made by Scott's mom.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite sketches ever. But that's
one of the. I don't like these action scenes.
We did a stupid Christmas episode a couple of years ago about movies that come out on Christmas Day. All the Christmas movies kind of come out in November, and Charlie Brown's special aired on November 30th.
What?
Yes. So on Christmas Day, the movies that are coming out this year, absolutely insane. Because there's that Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg, I'm the Better Dad movie,
Stepdad or what?
I don't know what it's called.
The good one.
I didn't even know this was happening.
Yeah, but it's coming out Christmas Day. And other than that, they've made a tradition out of the last three Tarantino movies always come out on Christmas, and so is The Hateful Eight. So there's your Christmas movie, and the biggest Christmas movie I'm terrified of, Point Break. The remake of Point Break. Anybody in the Christmas spirit want to see Bodhi's rob a bank?
Well, I think in all those Christmas releases, they're like, okay, you've been doing Christmas all week, and now it's noon on Christmas Day. You're sick of Christmas things, so watch Death, or watch this Oscar bait film about a brilliant man's biography film,
or watch The Last Boy Scout.
Is that a Christmas film?
I think it came out on Christmas Day.
That was Shane Black once again doing that with Lethal Weapon is like that, and so is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang
and Iron Man 3.
We did that in our manly in Iron Man 3. We did it in our manly Christmas movies episode from like 4 years ago.
Which
was why we're salvaging whatever we can to do one more, just one more people. Then it's all reruns.
What's another one of your dark?
Well, I wanted to ask Dave if I couldn't figure upon anything that was truly dark in a Christmas story, except.
I mean, there's weird things like
Randy
hiding underneath the kitchen, like underneath the cabinet in the kitchen. That's just like weird.
It is a dark implication that he is he just being a child who assumes like his father's literally going to kill Ralphie, or he's like, I've seen your father beat Ralphie before, and I don't want to see.
Is he down there because he's scared of what the father's going to do, or is he just a weird? Because the kid's he's a weirdo. Randy is one of the weirdest characters.
You never did that.
No, never for extended periods of time. And like, Mom, close the door and give me my milk.
I remember. It's going to make me feel so dated. The first time I ever got suspended from school, I didn't want to go home and deal with the consequences, so I hung out just in a field by myself for about 2 hours, which I guess for a kid, like, it's been like 6 days. I got to go back. And I snuck upstairs, went in through my window, and I called. I did that thing where you call your own number and then hang up, and your phone. Again, pre-cell phones, your phone will ring, and I waited for my parents to pick up. I'm like, hello? Am I gonna get in trouble? Like, just come home, Chris. I don't wanna. Consciously made a huge production out of it, and then revealed that I am actually, and I'm upstairs. And they were so fucking, they were like mildly relieved, and I got out of a little bit of trouble just as a result of it. You know, you're grounded, right? Yeah, but no more than a week, right? No, that's insane.
I think of it, well, Christmas Story, all his denials of getting what he wanted, like that.
But that's the only one. To get exactly what you want and have it hurt you.
Yeah. Also, his friends are mercilessly beaten by their parents at multiple points during the movie.
Oh, come on! Oh, God. Yeah. Who said it? Flick. He said, "Your son
became a porn star."
Like the other end of the phone when she tells Flick's mom is one of my. That's my favorite moment.
Yeah. And Schwartz becoming a porn star is also kind of dark.
Yeah, with the tongue guy.
Yes.
Yeah, the guy who got his tongue stuck to the flagpole has done a couple of pornography movies.
Wow.
Based on his famous tongue.
Also, I
guess what he does, Hank. Never mind.
I guess it also would have scared me. It scared me as a kid when he made his dad so upset by saying the F word. That got me. But yeah, I guess there's nothing too dark in that.
I know. Grim thought it was very dark that all of the bolts for the tire got thrown out in that scene. Yeah, just a car not functioning properly, that really
it upset him so much.
Yeah. Well, just think if you did that, like installing a hard drive and all the screws went down the drain. You'd be livid. Anyway, we're talking about dark Christmas moments on Laser Time. We will be right back with some more. Stay tuned, and Mary and all that. Tidings of joy and whatnot. Thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of Laser Time. We scaled back on the Christmas this year, so I shouldn't see any complaints, you fucking heathens who hate Christmas. This is our sole Christmas show, because we'll be doing something very special next week, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But I wanted to plug the shit that's going up on LaserTimePodcast.com this week, because we had a bunch of stuff for you, including a top 7 about fictional Christmases. That's right. Our pop culture experts will guide you through fictional Christmases that never happen. And also this week, streaming-wise, I really wanted to plug this because this is a personal favorite of mine. Again, damn the haters. King Kong, the official video game of the movie. I forgot, that's not the title. Peter Jackson's King Kong. It is 10 years old. It is one of the best launch games ever. I love it. We have a copy of it. Ubisoft's King Kong game. We will be streaming it on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific. On Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, in honor of Star Wars Force Awakens. Again, more on that in a second. We will be streaming the N64 air-quoted classic, Shadows of the Empire, and Thursday for our Nintendo stream, a wrestling game from the Nintendo 64 era. Odd that we're celebrating more Nintendo 64 than we are Star Wars this week, but hey, it doesn't end there. We're going to have a new Blunder Lizard for you, of course, a bunch of other fun stuff on LaserTimePodcast.com. In addition to that, we wanted to point out to our patrons, this is our last Star Wars movie. Patreon.com/LaserTime. One of the many incentives, including the first season of The Simpsons, cartoon commentaries, wrestling commentaries. We have the Monday Night Movie. We've been streaming every Star Wars leading up to Force Awakens. Tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific, we will be streaming Return of the Jedi with all of you. So we encourage you to join us. Check it out. Patreon.com/LaserTime. And in addition to that, not just patrons, but they're, of course, invited. We are going to stream a live cast on Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to stream our thoughts, a live stream review of Star Wars The Force Awakens. Hopefully with all of you, you Midnighters. Join us for the conversation. We want to hear what you have to say about it. We're going to unleash all our immediate thoughts like right away, this Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Join us for our live review of Star Wars The Force Awakens. Oh my God, I hope it's not disappointing. Anyway, check out LaserTimePodcast.com. All this week, we will have content all next week, and we'll have you covered throughout the Christmas break. Thank you guys so much. Peace. Laser time, second segment.
All aboard! Let's go!
Horror. Welcome back. We're talking about dark moments in famous Christmas fare. I don't know if this counts, and it feels like a rerun. And if you want to learn more about it, we did what I thought was a really good commentary that was released Christmas last year for Gremlins.
Yes.
But this speech is kind of emblematic of the entire affair. Gremlins is just an outbreak of deadly creatures that happens on Christmas in this small town. Phoebe Cates' speech,
Christmas Eve. I was 9 years old.
Ooh. Why she hates Christmas?
Me and Mom were decorating the tree, waiting for Dad to come home from work. A couple hours went by. Dad wasn't home. His Mom called the office. No answer. Christmas Day came and went, and still nothing. So the police began a search. 4 or 5 days went by. Neither one of us could eat or sleep.
Gizmo can't take it.
Apart.
Cut to Gizmo, it'll make this easy.
It was snowing outside. The house was freezing, so I went to try to light up the fire. And that's when I noticed the smell. Firemen came and broke through the chimney top. And me and Mom were expecting them to pull out a dead cat or a bird. And instead, they pulled out my father.
The cut to Gizmo reaction. Bore.
Then I walked in on Judge Reinhold jerking off.
So, Gremlins is a dark movie, but not this tonally dark.
Well, she's about to say, the next line she's going to say is that he fell and snapped his neck and died instantly, which I swear there's like 3 lines in this movie that feel like you added this afterwards because people realized this was way too dark. I bet in their original thing, like, he got stuck and starved to death.
Yeah, the original pitch, like it was a pitch that Christopher Columbus wrote, not the famous sailor, but the director of Home Alone and
Harry Potter.
It was more violent. It included the Gremlins killing Billy's mother, killing his dog.
Whoa!
Not the dog.
Yeah, and I think an attack on a bunch of people in McDonald's. But I think there are people very clearly killed on screen in Gremlins, although they come back at the end.
Over the TV, they're like, and these people reported that they were very scared by that bulldozer that ran them over. Yeah, well, when the
movie's really fun.
When the dog gets strung up with lights like that, it's that feeling of like, oh, is nothing safe in this? Like, they're going to do this to the dog, but then when the dad takes the dog away, you're like, okay, the dog's going away and he won't be killed. The dog can't stick around for this.
Send the dog to a farm where only.
I mean, even as a kid, you see that movie, even seeing like the mom cut up and bloody is like, this is creepy. It also made "Do You Hear What I Hear" into a very creepy song. From then on.
This just played in the Clay Theater recently.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, am I wrong? We had a ton of fun watching it. This is one of the
we
most
saw
fun.
it at the Castro Theater.
The craziest thing was when it got to the end, and it was the actor from Breaking Bad and Parks and Rec.
Oh, Mike.
Mike from Breaking Bad.
Oh, he's one of the cops at the end.
Oh, really?
That's funny. About that. When we did the commentary, we realized it at the end of that too.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, and then and he's one of those
talking about these gremlins.
He looks totally different.
He looks completely different.
Wait, does he? Like handsome?
Well, I mean, he's balding in the same way, and if you look at his eyes, you're like, now you just think of him as like, you are aged and have a goatee, like that.
Yeah, he still looked like just like 30s, 40s instead of however million years.
Well, fucking this barely counts. I think I just remember Gremlins being a movie for me that I watched a bunch, and only readdressing it as an adult that I think like it's kind of a dark movie, so this might not count.
It's one of those movies that just transcends the holiday. Like this and Home Alone are like. They barely register as Christmas movies. They are like big blockbusters.
Yeah.
That just so happen to take place around Christmas.
Well, Gremlins was released in the summer. Home Alone was actually a winter film.
Yeah.
Were the Die Hard movies?
That I can't. I don't recall.
I can look that up, but yeah. Gremlins also the creator of the PG-13 rating.
And Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom worked together to create the PG-13 rating. Oh, and also Red Dawn. Those are the three.
Yeah, Die Hard is a summer film. July 15th.
That's where they came up with Christmas in July.
Everybody forgets that Lethal Weapon also starts on Christmas.
I did, but I said that already. The Shane Black Christmas tree, trilogy. Check it out.
Chris remember, but clearly it's surprising.
Especially to remember, Taylor Negron, he died this year.
Oh, yeah.
And he has a great on-screen death in The Last Boy Scout. I can't say that. He falls onto a series of lights in the stadium.
Taylor Negron's great.
So did Mel Gibson's character get a straitjacket for Christmas, and he's just so happy that's why he's like wearing it in the office?
I can't wait to dislocate my shoulder. But here's a movie that like I always associated with this is Jesus Christ. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Brett is just like rubbing his forehead up against the microphone.
My eyeball is like pounding. I don't know why.
Well, it's Scrooged.
Yeah,
Scrooge, which I've just eaten it every year. I don't really associate it with a light or dark movie. For me, it's just a Christmas special. But it has plenty of awesome moments. I love the fucking all the TV shows he starts pitching, and his speeches towards his fellow TV executives.
We have spent $40 million on a live TV show. You guys have got an ad with America's favorite old fart reading a book in front of a fireplace. Now, I have to kill all of you.
Jesus Christ!
I love his insistence that you can staple the
antlers onto the mice's head, wow. And there are a lot of things in it that are I think a little darker than a movie that would be made today. I remember Again, I consider myself a Christmas expert. Yeah. I really hated all of the Christmas Carol parodies I had to review on Cartoon Christmas.
I still love them, but
but just after a while, oh God, we're at the Flintstones. The Flintstones are going to do a Christmas Carol. There's no way this is going to be
Christmas Carol Channing.
Before Christ is born.
Bah, Hamrock, Bon. Don't want to deal with that shit. But I don't remember.
Is there even a Ghost of Christmas Past? Aren't they in it?
Who would that be? Like fucking Bosco?
It's weird. It's very weird. It's Victorian Stone Age.
I don't remember the Herman character, which is just someone he encounters at a homeless shelter with his ex-girlfriend Claire. Yeah. But I don't remember a lot of corpse play in any other Christmas Carol. There are ghosts, but this is just a person he met and is dead.
Yeah, right in the middle of the froze to death.
Maybe I should have given you the $2, huh? You moron! You jerk! Why didn't you stay at Claire? Why didn't you stay with Claire? She would have taken care of you. You would have eaten. You would have been warm. You might be alive. You'd be a prettier color, I'll tell you that.
Just him yelling at a dead man.
Yeah, and that makes a widow out of Mama Fratelli, or AKA Throw Mama from the Train.
Yes.
That sequence that really reminds me of Groundhog Day too. It's the same, a frozen dead homeless guy. Really, it's something that must really affect Bill Murray the man. Yeah. But yeah, he is as mean as Bill Murray ever is in anything, and that also the Kristen Allen is amazing as just the perfect woman you should have married.
She's that in every movie I've ever seen her in.
Nobody's that.
Every movie ever. She's that in Indy too.
Yeah,
she's not nice in The Future, where she shoos away the homeless kids
because she got hardened by the death of Phil. What's his character? Not Phil. That's Groundhog Day. Yeah. What's his character's name? His mom calls him that.
Frankie Jr.?
Yeah, Frankie. Hey, Frankie baby. Or Frankie. The flashback with Frankie with her mom, and when the hot guy tells him I seen them all cry. What's that, Frankie?
I did see
Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls.
Has anybody watched Very Merry Christmas?
No, I haven't.
I've been meaning to.
I gotta finish Jessica Jones.
It is literally snowed in. People come by and sing, and they sing full songs. Yes, they're Phoenix, Maya Rudolph, and Buster Poindexter.
Yeah,
crazy that guy coming back in Bill Murray's movie.
But I guess it's the same thing. They just would have aired on CBS, but they put it on Netflix.
It's a little more charming, just that it's set in modern day New York. I didn't hate the time watching him. Just
do you see the Sofia Coppola touch on it?
That her husband from Phoenix sings a song in it, and it's the best song. I thought I read that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Sure. But for Scrooge, and I'm trying to remember. Does anybody? I have a Scrooge like double-sided theatrical poster that I bought rolled and not folded. So like, and I got it at one of the Castro or Red Vic things. Never mind. I have it somewhere in this house. Is a poster of Scrooge. That is the greatest poster of all time. It's Bill Murray yelling, holding a cigar that a skeleton is lighting.
Yeah. Well, and the skeleton effects in that are gross, and you get to see inside the cloak of the Ghost of Christmas Future, and it's scary really as shit too. And him trapped, like, I've had dreams about this, I swear, of him trapped in the coffin as fire is consuming it. I'm like, ugh, that's
Henry
one of my
is
biggest fears.
The king of literal dreams. So check this out. Check this out. Henry, what if you were trapped in a coffin? He will dream about that tonight. Yeah, dream about that tonight. This is going to happen.
It gets dark. And also, unlike in another thing to show you how much darker it is than regular Christmas Carol things, the Bob Cratchit character of the film
Thank you. That's what I was
goes
into.
Postal.
Elliot's played by Bobcat Goldthwait.
And he's amazing. Bobcat Goldthwait's amazing in it.
Given all the talk about firearms and like and rampages, this scene like as of last year when I watched it,
different now.
It feels like it's just he's using like Elmer Fudd references while it happens to delude what's happening, but it is the barrel of a gun in somebody's face as he chases him around.
Honey, I'm home.
Oh boy.
Remember me, boss? The guy you canned the day before Christmas? Merry Christmas.
Would you give me a running start?
Sure. 1001, 1002, 1003.
It doesn't ring as comedic because again I never thought Scrooge was dark because it
is a Looney Tunes kind of moment, but it feels more dark now.
Because when I think of Scrooge, the first thing I remember is Bill Murray singing over the credits. I think that's one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, especially he just totally breaks character and is just talking to the audience. Also that I felt it was darker too. That like, oh, Tiny Tim, he's got a bad leg. No, now the Tiny Tim is like silent and autistic, seemingly, and will be committed to an insane asylum without support like that. It's heavy, Doc.
If you want to know another chestnut from this movie, look up "Scrape 'Em Off, Claire."
Scrape 'Em Off, Claire?
It's
is
like
that something you can find?
Yeah. I just looked it up. It is on YouTube.
I'll check it out. But until then,
did you know every? Okay.
I've had a bad day.
You had a bad day. Let me tell you a little bit about my day. I got fired. My wife left me. She took a little baby daughter with her. I can't recall much after that because ever since then I've been blind, stinking, drunk.
Scrape 'Em Off, Claire.
Yeah.
The rest of your life, I'm going to give you some advice, Claire. Scrape them off. You want to save somebody?
Save yourself.
Save yourself.
Oh, well, that's a wonderful attitude to have on Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas.
Bah humbug.
Ooh.
Scrape them off.
It's not a dark scene, but when he's talking with the censor of like, do you see a nipple? I don't see a nipple. Like that's just it's funny.
But it wouldn't be dark Christmas time if we didn't talk about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Oof, boy.
The famous it is technically the second oldest airing
is Peanuts older than that?
I believe it is.
Right.
Magoo would have been if we had stopped if we hadn't stopped running it 10 years ago.
Even though I love Magoo.
Yet again at Christmas. So it's like Charlie Brown, like a lot of torment and a lot of meanness, and not just the meanness from the kids, Rudolph's fellow kids. You know the Reindeer Games line. Wait, here's the Reindeer Games line.
All right now, yearlings, back to practice. Oh, no, not you. You better go home with your folks. From now on, gang, we won't let Rudolph join in any reindeer games, right?
That's literally discrimination.
I'm a good teacher.
And it's not just that's the adult. That's the authority figure saying like, no, fuck that kid, children.
Santa.
And then this clip, because this is like, to me, I watch this every year and it never isn't heartbreaking.
Now, what's this nonsense here, Bucks? After all,
Hey, look at the beak.
Hey, buy us new.
Hey, Bob Paws. Hey, Snap. Stop calling me
Santa comes in.
Donner, you should be ashamed of yourself. What a pity.
Your child sucks.
Come in and shame the father.
Your child is horrible. You have another one or something. I thought you were genetically better than that, Donner.
Dana Gould joke, you call that a reindeer penis? It's more like a freak factory.
Also, everyone in that reindeer school sounds like they're from Brooklyn.
And
that's the case with like almost all anthropomorphic animals until like 1992.
And the lesson too is
when
like,
they became Frank Welker.
Donner feels immediate shame the second his son is born. He tries to get him to hide his talents as best as possible. Like, nope, cover your nose with this stuff. But it hurts my nose. I don't care. He will not humiliate.
He's got to pray the red away.
Not only does Santa not give a shit, he's just all over the place with innuendo.
See, little fellow, every year I shine up my jingle bells.
No, I thought he said balls. My bad. I get it wrong all the time because he says I'm the king. Jingle, jangle, jingle. I'm the king of jing. And I always thought as a kid he was saying I'm the king of dingling, and I thought that was hysterical.
I'm the king.
But I was actually talking to Grimm about this, and he's having a conversation with someone either in his office or a coworker. That Rudolph is the gayest special of all time, and I have heard if you replace Hermes.
Well, yeah, he's
the elf.
Gay, yes.
So if you replace the word boy in this sequence, if you replace the word toys with girls and dentist with homosexual, this scene makes a shitload of sense.
What's eating you, boy?
Not happy in my work, I guess.
What?
I just don't like to make toys.
No, well, if that's all. What? You don't like to make toys?
No.
Herbie doesn't like to make toys.
Herbie doesn't like to make toys. Herbie doesn't like
Shame
to make
him!
toys.
Shame him, all of you!
Hermes doesn't like to crush
Telling me
pussy.
what you do want to do?
Well, sir, someday I'd like to be a dentist.
A dentist?
Well,
I think his
we
eyes
need
bug
one up
out
here.
there, too.
I've been studying. It's fascinating. You know, I
don't understand their opposition to dentistry.
All of our teeth are made out of wood, stupid.
It's the 60s. Fluoride was a thing.
Yeah. All elves only make toys. Get out of here, elf! I love that guy's voice.
Why weren't you at elf practice?
fixing these dolls' teeth.
Just fixing. Now listen.
God
we
damn
have
it.
dolls that cry, talk, walk, blink, and run a temperature. We don't need any chewing dolls.
Not chewing.
I just thought I found a way to fit in.
You'll never fit in.
I wish I could have been that voice actor. That sounds like so much fun.
You're fired. So, you want to just scream at an outcast?
So then the mess, I mean, then it just keeps getting darker of like, let's go to the place of misfit toys where they don't do exactly what they're supposed to do. And if you can't do that, you're out of society.
And again, the Charlie in the Box is easily a gay analogy.
The official sentry of the island of misfit toys.
A Jack in the Box for a sentry?
Yes, my name is...
Don't tell me. Jack.
No, Charlie. That's why I'm a misfit toy. My name is all wrong. No child wants to play with a Charlie in the box, so I had to come here.
Where's here?
Well...
Oh, what a bummer.
Yeah, I just...
Well, people
Charlie sounds like 18 characters in a John Waters movie.
So he does everything right except just his name isn't right.
His name sucks.
I know, like some kid's gonna be like, "This is a Charlie in the Box, not a Jack in the Box." I like Jack in the Box brand. Jack in the Box. As long as that thing jumps out when you finish twirling the
and
little
I think
stick,
that's
then
still
it's
an
fine.
idiom people use today is like the island of misfit toys. To be like, this thing
Yeah.
doesn't belong when
It
really
don't belong
it's
with
just-
anybody.
It's Santa being a dick. Like Santa's world of the North Pole is just him going
It's
like, this toy isn't exactly right. This elf doesn't want to do his exact job. This nose is a different color.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
All of these toys are Muslim. Get them out of my country.
Too close to home, David. Well, I had more on the perspective list. Shit, did this even work?
By the way, I'm just making fun of Trump. I don't
Of Doug, like trying to.
Ooh,
No,
I wrote
Dave,
about this
Dave
on,
and I have done Doug.
It's the mayor, yes, the mayor's
Sorry.
here. Once again, thanks to me, your former mayor, the children of Bluffington are safe from this brutal trained killing machine.
Pork chop.
That brutal killing machine. That's pretty funny. Take him away, boys. You can relax now, citizens. We're putting that dog away for good.
Wait, what happened? Stop!
No, Billy.
So that's an interesting, like, because that's what I was saying about Christmas stuff. You're allowed to get darker, because they're talking about killing Doug's dog, over an accident.
I wrote 2,000 words about this on Cartoon Christmas.
So the thing,
that's what it's there for.
I forgot that aspect of it too. It's not just that. Doug has a very dark meeting with Porkchop in jail, where he's like, "You're gonna die, and my dog's gonna die, just because some rich girl got bit." But also, it kind of is damning of society too in that way, because nobody cares only because a rich girl got bitten, and her rich dad took it more seriously as an insult and trumped up her injuries, and he's getting railroaded by the former mayor who still wants to be famous, so he's making it his cause.
I've called them the Bluffington Illuminati. Exactly. It's a perfect triangle. There's BB's dad, the judge, and the mayor. Right there.
Who benefits?
Look in the middle, it's a pyramid with an eye, and it's on the dollar. Wake up, sheeple.
If you look at it from space, it's a pentagram.
Well, that's why I voted for Mrs. Dink.
Oh God! Well, fine. I'm going to get a little personal here, just because I know. I found out recently my dad hates my taste in Christmas stuff. Really hates it, because I bought a bunch of the stuff on Amazon just so I could watch it wherever I wanted. Every year I do a trilogy of Jim Henson stuff. Muppet Christmas Carol? No, don't care for it. Don't care for it. I'm talking, of course, Emmett Otter, and Emmett Otter is one of my favorites, just because just how bleak it is. There's a bunch of light asides to Dad being dead and how they're poor and constantly on the verge of being kicked out of society. Like if we win this musical competition, much like Rocky, they train really hard, sell everything they own, and
sacrifice their one thing.
They lose, and just these conversations.
Emmett, you with your odd jobs, me with my socks and pumpkins. No wonder we're so rich.
We'll make out. You gotta have faith,
Whoa.
huh?
Oh, I got plenty of faith. I spent all those years
Let's make out.
as a snake oil salesman, didn't I?
Well, Pa should have gotten rich on snake oil, but there just aren't enough
People who want to oil a snake.
Oh, Pa used to always say that when business was bad.
Yup, he said it a lot.
So I love the suggestion there. Pa's dead, but he still sucked.
We were always destined to be ruined. A flim-flam man, too. Like, not a great guy.
He was a hustler. We'd call him that nowadays. That in the trilogy, also in the trilogy, Bells of Fraggle Rock. One of my favorite Christmas specials ever about Gobo learning to respect someone else's religion, even if you can find holes in it.
Yeah, it's one for an atheist to be like, no, there is no bell in the rock. I can prove it. Like,
I can prove God doesn't exist. I have all the evidence, but there's all these people here dressed up and willing to go to a party, and you want to ruin that for them.
Wow, I forgot about this.
Did you?
Wow, I've totally seen this.
Yeah, it's great. It has I end almost every Christmas podcast with the song "Bells of Fraggle Rock" at the end. Raise Your Voices, I believe it's called.
I just love that about Fraggle. Fraggle Rock in general is just this great humanism. Hippie humanism to it.
So he leaves
inclusive for all religions.
He leaves so they can't perform their Christmas ritual. In between is a great speech from Doc about how people celebrate Christmas all over the world because it's based off the equinox, the coldest day of the year, where people have traditionally tried to stay warm and not die, and that's why every single
that's
culture
why they pee on each other.
Some cultures do. So there's ash and faggots in other cultures. That's a big. That became the Yule log. That's what it's a Christmas tradition.
Yes.
What are you talking
it's
about?
It's a tradition for you to say that just because.
Yeah, I love it.
And all those Fwaggles, the poor Fwaggles,
they all die. They all get frozen and die.
Hey, everybody! I've been to the Cave of the Great Bill, and there's no. Oh no! Boober, Mookie. Oh, Red. I
Not
didn't
Wembley.
mean the.
Not one.
Oh no. Wembley. Oh, poor Wembley.
Is there a Roku box down there?
It's like, it's Gobo.
But then everything is right, kids. Don't worry, everything works out.
Everything's a little better. But
kids, let's start with googling Fraggles.
It's a story for shithead atheists written by atheists.
Yes.
About why Christmas traditions are important. I think it's one of my favorites ever. So if you can track it down, do it. The next one, and I only want to play these clips because I don't think I have before, and this is the last one. But because we did one of our Christmas parodies based on the 1986 Jim Henson special, A Christmas Toy. And if you ever wondered whose voice we were all doing, I have some clips for you. And like Christmas Toy, I not only love, but it stuck with me a long time, partially because of the darkness, like a lot of death, which they call Frozen Forever, but because Toy Story, with the trilogy combined, there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah,
quite a lot.
There's a lot of overlap.
Those stakes are never at play in Toy Story. Like no one's ever.
They were seen.
Really?
Yeah.
Did that happen?
No. But that's the thing. In this thing, one of the toys is seen.
Yeah, but see, that's what I hate about movie franchises, when they can't commit to killing people.
But they do occasionally, because they had that shelf in Toy Story 2 where all the bad toys.
But I did almost lose it at the end of Toy Story 3 when they're all
wouldn't you?
When they're all going in that
it's
big
fucking
trash
terrifying.
Fire.
As far as you think, like they're dead. Like they let you think they're going to die for a real long time.
Please go listen to that if you're in any way curious. It's called The Christmas Toy. I think 2013, 2012.
13, I think. Yeah.
I worked really hard on it, but it's a parody of this, and you can see some of the voices we were trying to approximate. This is one of the toys who's like, it's so stupid that it goes out and gets seen by humans, and this is all just corpse stuff.
Well, I don't know what's so hard to figure out. I mean, if Rugby went out the door, then we should just stick our heads out and call him back.
Where are you going? Fitz, where are you going? Oh, emergency! Fitz is going out the door! Emergency! No!
People coming! People coming!
Humans are the bringers of death.
Humans are the bringers of, and we did it with a parallel of like video game console and technology.
Oh yeah,
as the toys,
the new console
toy
launches.
characters. But it was about the last year's favorite toy. Thinking he's going to be the favorite toy forever, and what? There's a new toy downstairs. Well, fuck that. I'm going to go see what this is about. And
I will just be the
arrogant leaves the room, and I believe that was the Xbox 360 in our version, followed by a Windows phone. But Ditz is dead. I think this is the Wii in our version.
Poor Ditz, frozen forever. That's horrible.
This is just a corpse going by on a train in front of all the other toys as they cry. Yeah. For like a solid minute.
To be brought to the mass grave with the other dead ones. And he's frozen forever. This poor little clown.
And there's these really dark scenes in it, like the Windows Phone character. I'm way up my own ass here. But the cat toy who tries to help out the arrogant toy ends up dying trying to save him. And just the silence that pervades the scene as he goes and visits the corpse of his friend.
Oh, Mew.
This is the voice I was trying to do.
I can't believe you're gone. There's so much to tell you, even if you can't hear. You see, you were the best friend that I ever had. But did I thank you for that? What I did was to make fun of you and insult you and tell you that you smelled funny.
I feel really bad about the way we wrote the Windows Phone now. I really do.
Pretty spot on.
My Windows Phone is dead and buried now. So
it was a while ago. I don't know if that thing still works. But worked really hard on it. It's out there, lasertimepodcast.com, and we are going to take a tiny little break. And when we come back, the Christmas is going to get even darker with a little Erotic Fan Fiction Theater. Be right back.
Old friends, new friends, hoping we'll always be here with each other together on Christmas Day.
Last week on Cape Crisis.
Looking at the comments, there were I'd say a handful of people who said, Henry, you're a dyed-in-the-wool Marvel fan, and I'm so sick of people bitching about every single DC thing that happens.
You are wearing a Spider-Man shirt.
Fucking morons, they say. And then another person said...
morons for having an opinion on a trailer.
Then another person said, like, geez, Henry, the one time you choose to be nice to a DC trailer, it's this one. This sucks. I was like...
You can't win.
Yeah, I was like...
It's almost like people have different opinions.
That's Cape Crisis, the comic book podcast you must listen to every Thursday or Friday.
Oh boy, welcome back everybody, and as a warm, ultra warm, moist Christmas return, it is our latest edition of Erotic Fan Fiction Theater. For this Yuletide blessing, we will be performing The Nightmare Before Christmas, Desire, by I Am Love.
And movies.adult.fanfiction.org.
It's adult/fanfiction.org -fanfiction.org.
By the way,
either way, you will not look it up.
If you see a really garbage age gate, then you're on the right site.
It was really, let's just say, it was difficult to find something that didn't involve underage people in one of these, but we found it, and so.
Yep.
And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the return of Erotic Fan Fiction Theater. We will be performing The Nightmare Before Christmas, Desire.
Sally sang in the kitchen. Rays of early afternoon sunlight streamed in the window and poured over her hands as she worked mixing bread dough. One good-sized round of brown bread would last the remainder of the week. There might be enough to make a pudding or herb stuffing as well. Squash and corn soup simmered on the stovetop. Zero wagged a corner of his sheet.
I try to take good care of your master,
Sally said to the ghost dog.
Jack takes good care of me, you know.
Zero floated to the countertop to snuffle the bread dough, and Sally chastised him.
No, down, Zero. You can have some when this is finished. You know we always share with you.
Zero whined, licking her calf in apology. Sally continued kneading the dough, singing to herself in time with the work. She jumped when a second voice joined her own.
Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you,
said Jack, touching her shoulder.
I didn't hear you come in, Jack.
Sally laughed. She stood on her tiptoes and kissed him.
Are you hungry?
Jack grinned. He gave a sinister laugh.
In a matter of speaking, I couldn't stop thinking about you all morning. I wondered if perhaps we might continue where we left off when we were so rudely interrupted last evening.
Sally bit her lower lip. The thought was tempting, but...
It's so early, Jack. We'll be even more likely to be interrupted now, don't you think?
Jack shook his skull.
No fear, my queen. I have that taken care of.
Sally tilted her head with a quizzical smile, but Jack offered no explanation.
Give me one moment then, Jack. I need to set the bread dough out to rise.
Don't take too long. Your bone man is rising too.
Jack growled playfully. Sally gasped in mock surprise, then laughed. She set the bread dough in a shadowed corner near the warm stove before turning to her husband. She moved into his arms and they fell into a deep kiss. Outside, the mayor and Behemoth approached the Skellington mansion. The mayor was about to push open the iron gate when one of the musicians stepped into his path.
I wouldn't disturb the Bone Daddy right now, Mr. Mayor. He said he was going home for some privacy with his lady. He don't want to be disturbed, you dig?
The Behemoth looked mystified, but nodded slowly. The mayor balked.
What are you saying? He doesn't want to talk to me?
Nah, now it's nothing personal. He just wants to, well, you know, he just wants to have some naughty fun with his ragdoll right now.
Speechless faced with the musician's candor, Speechless faced with the musician's candor, the mayor finally stammered.
It's barely lunchtime. He hasn't even inspected the pumpkin carvings yet.
The band members just laughed. Sally and Jack didn't even make it to the bedroom. They didn't even make it out of the kitchen. Jack laid Sally down on the braided rug and pulled off his suit. He reached the point where they had been forced to stop previously. Then the king removed his suit pants and shorts in one movement. He exhaled sharply in anticipation before helping Sally out of her dress. Then he pounced atop her.
Oh, Jack! This feels so good!
Sally moaned as Jack moved on her. He pulled her silk slip down over her shoulders, revealing her brassiere. His other hand lifted the slip skirt to her waist, uncovering white panties.
Ah! You wear too many clothes!
Jack groaned. They laughed breathlessly together. Sally licked his cheek, her small hands tracing down Jack's spine to his pelvis. She caressed his member with her fingertips, and Jack convulsed in pleasure. He tugged her panties off. His spidery fingers touched within her. Sally gasped and squeezed him tight.
You certainly feel...
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
That's my line, Sally. You certainly feel ready for me.
I'm more than ready, Jack. Take me.
Sally whispered. Jack laughed. He pulled at her brassiere with his teeth until it fell open. Her nipples were a specific shade of lavender, which had become Jack's new favorite color the very first time he saw them. He licked and sucked at Sally's breasts as he entered his queen with a slow, deep thrust. The pleasure was beyond all description. This is erotic fan fiction. It should be within description. Oh, shit. I lost my place.
Jack growled.
Jack growled wildly, pulsating against her again and again. Sally gasped with each push. They rolled over so that she sat up on him. Jack closed his eye sockets, luxuriating in the soft kisses of her long hair surrounding his skull like a perfumed curtain. Sally met his thrust with movements of her hips. Heaven.
Jack, I'm almost there,
Sally said. She could feel heat building deep within her. Before she could say another word, Jack flipped her back onto her back and continued his efforts with doubled enthusiasm. Sally screamed.
Ah, Jack! I'm...
Jack was too. He screamed, then spilled within her. She collapsed against his ribs.
What is jizz? I improv that.
The moments immediately following such intense intimacy were best left silent, avoiding dialogue. They were beyond words. Again, you're a writer. Jack cradled Sally close, running his fingers through her hair. She closed her eyes and sighed with immense contentment. She always felt this way after lovemaking, but today something was different. Something. Jack strode back into the town square with a spring in his step. He beamed like the full moon.
Hello there, Mayor. What do we have on the schedule this afternoon?
The mayor took a step back.
Plenty of work to do today, Jack. Plenty of work. You, seem to be feeling better?
I most certainly am feeling better. Much better.
Oh, that's nice. Our Bone Daddy had himself some lovin'.
Afterward, Jack and Sally had helped each other dress before he returned to work, but Sally remained sitting on the floor for a short time after Jack had gone. Sex was an amazement. She stood slowly, legs trembling. Sally leaned against the table until her balance steadied. Then she walked to the stove and turned down the heat on the soup.
Life goes on.
Scene. What the fuck?
That's so long without the soup. I liked him closing his eye sockets.
Closing his eye sockets. Jesus Christ. How did he do that? He pulled the bone together. Jesus Christ. Maybe we'll never do that again. Merry Christmas, everybody. LaserTimePodcast.com. All Christmas break. Listen to our other Christmas shows, especially the Christmas toy thing. Maybe I'll make another one if more people listen to that.
Laser Time, where listening is an amazement.
All right, that is. Get your plugs out if you got them.
Right. Sorry. Are we not going to read the notes on his anatomy and why he has a penis?
Oh, there was a foreword to this. Author's note: there's a pervasive argument in the Nightmare Before Christmas fandom about Jack's anatomy. For the purposes of my fanfic, the one we just read, this is what I go with. Firstly, in the film, Jack clearly has not only has not only eyelids, but a forked tongue and reacts with pain when Sally accidentally sticks his fingers with a needle.
This is true.
He also appears to eat and drink. Further, the film's epilogue on the soundtrack and the subsequent music and CD states that for some years after the film, Jack apparently had 4 or 5 skeleton children. Given all of that, I would guess that he's got something functional in his pants. Secondly, it's a fantasy movie, people. If you're a fan, you presumably already accepted the existence of a holiday world and tree portals, and that a skeleton can sing, dance, eat snow, and stick out his tongue. If you're cool with all that, suddenly demanding a biologically realistic explanation for sex seems pretty silly. IMO.
Why do you think they establish that he eats and drinks? What kind of sex are they having?
Well, it's just to show that there's a biological...
It's a piss parade, Sally!
Well, though...
Shit on my chest!
Well, does she have biological stuff? Because she's full of stuffing. Like, she's...
Well, then we know how it comes out.
And second, just because
she just shoots leaves everywhere.
Just because he has 4 to 5... They have 4 to 5 skeleton children. Like, he builds skeleton reindeer. Who's to say he couldn't build skeleton children? I'm finding holes in your thing here, Mr.
So, just like Jack's finding holes...
I'm on board.
Jack's finding holes in Sally. So.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Cape Crisis is the comic book podcast I host every week on the Laser Time Podcast Network, and we're probably going to be talking about our favorite comics of the year soon enough in an upcoming episode. And also on Patreon, we just launched the new comic book commentary, Classic Comic Cartoons Commentary, starting with a very Xmas-themed episode. Have yourself a little Morlock.
God, you have not got it right once in several attempts.
What is it again?
Have yourself a Morlock Little Xmas.
Damn it. All right.
Good God.
And that's on the Patreon for $10 or more a month. Patreon.com/lasertime.
But you also, in that $10, you also get...
you also get a wrestling match commentary every other week. Basically, the weeks that aren't the comic book show commentaries is wrestling commentaries. And I host Cheap Popcast. It's basically the exact opposite of Nightmare Before Christmas erotic fan fiction. So if you didn't like this, maybe you'll love wrestling. Or vice versa. Yeah, and there'll be a Cheap Popcast for TLC 2015 very soon.
All right, guys. With that, to all a good night.
Well, that's